Okay. Oh, there I am. There I am. Okay. So, hello, my fellow people on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Happy Marvelous Monday. As I said, happy Marvelous Monday. As I just share on an update of where I have been. I know you've seen little snippets here and there, and most of you pretty much know, and what I have learned during this season of my family's life in the process, because it has truly been an eye opener. So if I'm going back and forth and I'm looking over here and I'm looking over here, I'm live on Instagram over here and I'm live on Facebook and YouTube, and I just put all. I didn't have enough time to put everything on one platform, so I'll be going like this. So just please bear with me. But at the end of the day, I just want you all to get the information that I'm going to share with you. So, people have said, let's what you want to hear. You want to hear the good stuff or the bad stuff? Okay, I'm gonna start with the bad because I want to talk about life at the end. I want to end with life, but I just want to share what I've experienced in life for these last couple of months. And so, it's taken me a little moment to just kind of get myself together as I'm still getting myself together. Thank God, by the grace of God, His mercy, your prayers for those of you that have been praying for my family and I during this season of our life. I just want you to know that we appreciate you very much. We appreciate your prayers. It's definitely been felt. And because of your prayers, it has helped sustain us. Prayers is powerful. Prayers are powerful, let me tell you. And I know that if it had not been for prayers, that we would not be where we are and still be able to function and not be in a corner, being, just can't function. And I say that because of, unfortunately, those of you that know, and I've shared a little bit about it, and I know you've seen different things that I've posted about the sudden loss of my brother, which was due to negligence, by the way. For those of you that know, it was due to hospital negligence, and which end up being okay. And I'm sharing it after he got the autopsy after months, and that it ended up being a heart attack due to their negligence. As well. And so that's something that my family and I have to deal with as far as the next steps is concerned. But what I have learned with that, okay, with that part is that if you have a loved one and they go to the hospital and they are coherent, they're able to communicate, they're able to tell of their symptoms, they look well, there's no need to stay there with them. I'm going to tell you to be an advocate and stay. Even if they are as healthy as my brother was, never even had a cavity, stay with that loved one until they are able to leave the hospital. I never thought in a million years that because the last time I saw my brother alive, he was coherent, he was up, he was speaking, he was able to tell because he went to the hospital for help because he was having some discomfort. And so he ended up, telling them what was happening, what he was feeling, very attentive, alert. As I said, just the way I'm communicating with you all now, he was just that way. We were laughing and talking. And so we didn't see any, my parents and myself didn't see that, we needed to say. Our goal was that at the next day that we were going to pick him up because he was going to get run some tests. Oh, sorry, delayed. Amber alert in Escabia County. Just messing up. Okay. Sorry. These things are they're all going on, all three of the phones going on. There is a Amber alert in Escabia. That's Pensacola, Florida. So just be mindful of that. And so I don't know if you heard the last thing, but I was saying with the interruption. But yes, what I was saying was that my brother was coherent when we left him. Not in a million years, because of the fact that he was able to tell the doctors and nurses what he was feeling. There was no slur of speech, nothing like that whatsoever. Right. So we left there with the premise of that we're going to take him the next day. After they run all the tests, he will be just discharged. But there was a couple of there was a couple of red flags that we saw. But as I said, we just didn't know. Honestly, didn't know or didn't begin to phantom that it would end up in this. Those of you know, that was my only brother. Okay, my only brother, single, never been married. And that's the other thing I'm going to share about that a little bit later on, probably in another video. But needless to say, I'm going to say to you, because of the way this hospital system is, and I'm putting out there, this was JFK in Palm Beach, JFK Hospital. And I've heard a lot of good things, but it has proven for sure that their protocol, their process needs some work. It needs some work. Okay. When we found out, for those of you that don't know, that something happened to my brother, because we're calling, trying to figure out what's going on. As I said, I'll get a little bit deeper on a different level. I just want to share little things real quick. We didn't know that something had happened until the next day. This is what I'm saying. Until the next day in the evening, when we were already there, because we were like, something is not right. We're not hearing from him, which is so unlike my brother to respond if we call him or text him. Okay, because we're thinking that he's doing tests. Come to find out, he was not. Okay. When we eventually do see him, he's tubed up. He's tubes everywhere. No one is telling us exactly what happened. They don't know. And so I'm saying this, that if someone was there, and let me say this too, we don't feel as though, oh gosh, that to feel sorry for us. If I know what that means, being prayerful. Okay. This was an experience to let us know, now that I can share with you, now that I have the strength and the mindset to share with you, that be with that loved one, even if they are coherent. Be with them. Stay there. Something happens in the middle of light, somebody else is another extra ear and eyes. Okay, because during those times, they are not watching systems whatsoever. They're doing God knows what. They're not paying attention because they found him. That's a whole nother different story. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay. Right. So things were not being monitored whatsoever. And so when we finally get a phone call, mind you, now they verify my information. My parents were there, my brother there. They confirmed my information, and they did not reach out to the next day late in the evening. And when they did, and I asked them, why is it that took you so long to let me know that something happened? They said that couldn't they find my number, which was a lie, because the number was entered into the system. It was not written on a piece of paper whatsoever. It was entered into the system. That means that anybody that goes in his chart, which is digital, all right, my information, my emergency information will pop up. Okay, so that was a lie. That was a lie from the pit of hell. Okay, hence. So needless to say, of course, days after, my brother ends up passing. Why? When I asked them, what's the cause of death, they do not know. That was the thing. They did not know. They said it was not a heart attack. Okay, they did not know. So I had to be another advocate. Thank God for my amazing friends and family, my support system that just helped in advocating of getting an autopsy, because they said that it was not foul play. Well, clearly it was something, because you all can't, a doctor cannot write to say what happened. So something foul happened. Something foul happened. When I did get the report, because it was a full-fledged autopsy. Okay, full-fledged autopsy. It said that his death was caused by a heart attack. All right. Something happened. It said, so when there's something happened within 12 to 48 hours. Okay. 12 to 44 hours, he was in the hospital, by the way. Okay. Let me say that he was in the hospital. So something was done by their neglect, by their irresponsibility. Okay, that has caused this totally change my family's dynamic. We are now in a new normal, which also, by the way, unfortunately was a tribute to my father because of grief. Grief is difficult. No matter how a loved one grief is difficult. And I want to say this to you, anyone that is experiencing grief, a loss of a loved one, and it could be a loss of whatever. Okay, it's a grief. Get help. Get help. Don't go through alone. Right now, as it stand, my mother and myself and our family is going through what they call grief share with our church. If you don't have a church and you are interested in going through a grief share program, I do know of one that is online. It's a great support system. It really, really is. It truly is helping us to navigate this season, our emotions, the ups and downs, right? Because it's not a sprint, it is a marathon. We will never get over this, but we are learning how to go through it. We are learning how to navigate our emotions. We are learning about the triggers. We are learning just on the resources, the finances, making decisions. We are learning this new normal because we can, right? It's a daily decision to live, right? But when grief's consuming, you can't see anywhere out. It can break. It's, when they say somebody can die of a broken heart, it's true. It is very, very, very much true. Okay, so that's why those, when you say somebody loses a loved one, and I know sometimes it's really difficult when a person loses a loved one and you're like, I don't know what to say. I'm afraid to call them. Call them anyways. Why? Because it does give comfort. Text them anyways, right? It's okay because you really don't know what to say. Honestly, what can you say at that point in time that's going to be encouraging to that person? Because depending on where they are in their walk spiritually, depending on where they are, they might not can receive some of the things you say, even though you had the intent. Your intent was to bring comfort. Sometimes silence speaks volume. Sometimes silence speaks volume as well. Also, when a person is going through losing the loss, having to answer that question, what happened? Sometimes it's not helpful. It's actually annoying. Okay, for some, and I'm being honest with you because you're having to say things over and over again. So give them time. The most important thing that you can do is pray, encourage. Here, I'm just here to offer a prayer. I just want to encourage you, let you know that I'm here for you. People ask, I know people say, if I'm here, is there anything and I can do? And at that particular time, to be honest, for me, I didn't know where to begin. My help now, it begins now as navigating a new normal for my family and I right now. It is our help that is needed is navigating the new normal, right? Not being forgotten because now we're, everybody's gone home. They're doing their thing. They're back to normal, and we are getting to that point, and it is a process, right? Because now having to deal with the first day of not having that loved one there, the first, going places for the first time without our loved one. Those first experiences are really difficult and challenging. And so that is where we are. And so we've made it a conscious decision that we're going to honor my father and my brother's legacy with, as those of you know, my father he just got ordained bishop in March. And so he was a bishop. He had the ministry in Jamaica as well. And so I'm letting you all know that we are continuing to move forward with Beacon to celebrate the life of my father and brother with the mission. And we have a lot of events that are coming up, retreats for men, women, youth, VBS, all types of things. In December, we're going to be doing the treat for the community, for the children, the Christmas treat for the children and for the adults. And so, we're looking for support, and I'll post the information online so you can see that, or you can just reach out to me if you are interested in donating, sending a toy, sending hygiene things. We're going to need them all. We have to have them stuff by November 1st so we can send it down. not by that November 1st, so we can send it down by the first Tuesday in November, because we do have to ship those things down. So donation I need. We're keeping the legacy alive, because this is helping us to as we are healing, my father was very much involved with his mission, and he started that mission from scratch. And so my brother, it's so interesting. My father said to my brother, he was just like, if something has to be, make sure, you continue the ministry, him and myself. And now it's just me and he's not here. My brother's not here. So we're honoring that. We're honoring that. My parents gave up a lot for the ministry, and it will behoove myself, my husband, my mom, our whole family to say, "Oh, we're going to stop right there." Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There are so many lives that still needs to be changed, right? There's so many things that still need to be done, and so God has given us breath, and so we're taking that, right, to continue to be a blessing to others. And that is what's keeping us in our mind of that we still have the ability to reach out and help, which is one of the reasons why for me coming on live at least once a week and just sharing on just the navigation. And then just to share with you too, just the whole funeral expense. Those of you know that I am a financial rep. I do everything, or I teach money. So teach your money. I do everything from the womb to the tomb. Okay. And so everything that I have shared with my clients, I've shared with you all about, I've had to live every part of it through this season. Everything, having to burying my loved one, and seeing how the life insurance process was, right, and dealing with different companies. Some companies was good. Some companies it take a little bit longer. Okay, and that hope, and I can tell you this. Initially, when I did it, I end up spending almost almost 60,000, right? Because we did the burial. Let me say this: the funeral is different from the burial, by the way. Okay, the funeral. So when you think you're doing the funeral, we think that it's just one thing. No, it is not. It is two different things. Okay. If you're doing a casket, you're doing the funeral, and if you're doing it on site, that means you're doing it at the funeral home. It's going to save you money. If you do it off site, you may spend just a little bit more. It all depends on some of the things that you choose. Being mindful of what you choose, because there are some things you do not need, and they do play on your emotions. They mean well. Okay, the service that I used, they were actually very good. But they mean well, but it is a business. It is a business. The other thing too is that if you don't have the money to pay outright, if you are doing a funeral or cremation, I'm going to talk about cremation in a second, is that if you have a life insurance policy, and you say you have a life insurance policy, it has to be processed, they actually charge a processing fee. Some places, okay, the place that I know, they charge a processing fee, by the way. So if you don't have the money outright, what you could say, okay, here's the money for the funeral, and then let the insurance company pay to you. So the funeral service or company doesn't get all the little extra fees and things that they're processing, dipping into what you're supposed to receive as a beneficiary. Yeah. Okay. That's why it's important that you also have some type of investment. I talk about this all the time. This is part of the financial house, that you have the life insurance if something happened, because it's for those who are living. Yes, you do have your investment as well. And as I said, my brother was single, and he was one of my clients. I was not excited about having to do a death claim for my brother, but I'm thankful that he took the information that I gave him. I shared to him about having the financial, not knowing that he would be one of my death claims. And He was single. He was not married. He did not have any children, but he had enough sense to follow what to take the advice that I shared with him, right? Because he, as I said, he was one of my clients. My family was one of my clients. So the information that I share with you, I do it for my family. And I'm glad that I did, because now I can come on and just share with you all how important it is that now we do not have to feel like we're dead in the water. Because let me tell you something. It's one thing to have an emotional devastation of a loss, but it's another thing, as I share with you, when you have a loss financially. I want to ask you a question. Could you, in the space of 2 months, right? My brother passed June 1st. We buried him June 29th. Okay. My father passed July 24th. And within a space of time, unfortunately, right, had to spend about almost $60,000. That didn't include repass and all those types of things as well. So it's one thing to have a emotional devastation. Okay. But when you have a financial devastation in the process, let me tell you something. It is no joke. So I'm glad that I do what I do now, because it is important. No family should have to go through what my family has gone through in a short period of time. But we have, and we are going through this. And so it is important. Don't think that it's another bill, it's another expense. I'm telling you, it is not, because now the other side is, if they had lived longer, they would still be good, right? But since life has happened, okay, they left things right in order. My brother and my father left a legacy that we are continuing on by God's grace, strength, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and by the great mentors that we have in our lives. We have great spiritual mentors that's helping us to navigate this season, and we're so thankful. And it's also because of the relationships that my father, even my brother, has built as well prior to, And so what this season has taught me is that you have to take the time to spend time with your loved ones. Don't say, like my father said, don't say you should have when you could have and you didn't. What has been such a joy for me is when I look at the pictures and videos. I've passed places, and I can see, Dad Philip has been there. I took my parents there. I took that. We did this with the family. We did this. We went on trips together. We spent time to get together. So I am not living with regret. The regret that I'm living is that I wish it was more time. I wish it was more time. But this is where we are. This is where we are. And so I thank God for the times. I thank God that I have great memories. I have great pictures, great experiences. Like I would tell my parents, and I would tell my daddy at one point, and he was just like, thank you for helping me. Thank you for this. And I said, Daddy, if you are a bad parent, you would know it. You would know it. Okay. Mel, you would know it. You would know it. But because for me, because of the great parent, mentor, friend, encourager that my father was, that my brother was, it's an honor. And so now I don't have to, I get an opportunity to make new memories with my family, with my mother, with my husband, with my children, with my friends. I get an opportunity to make new, amazing memories. And I am so thankful for that. I am thankful for that. And so the other thing I want to share with you, okay, is that Ian Pierce is like, well, that's why I'm going to do cremation, because cremation is less. Yes, it is less. It is less. And the lowest that I saw that it could be is about between about 7,100 or so. Okay, so or so. Okay, depending on what you want. Once again, you just got to be mindful. Yes, I know it's not the most exciting thing to talk about, but it's something that does it is what it is. That you just have to be mindful. Now, the other thing too is that if a person decides, well, I don't want to do cremation, but I want to be able to, I want to do cremation, but I want to have the casket so people can come and pay their last tribute to to the loved one or whatever. You can rent a casket. Yes, you can rent a casket. They change the line and do all that as well. And then there's no burial, right? There's no burial on it, but you can do all those types of things as well. Renting a casket, by the way, costs about $1,000. Okay, and so when people say to me, "Well, I just want enough to be able to bury my loved one," well, you need to have at least 25,000 to bury. I'm just saying, because if you say, "Well, I want to have a little bit something left over when everything is done," $25,000 is not going to do it. $8,000 is definitely not going to do it, right? That's just a cremation. That means that the funeral home is getting everything. You're left with nothing whatsoever. So if you're of the mindset, and I talk about this, well, that you say, well, something happens to my loved one, something happens to me, I want to be able to have something left over. $8,000 is not going to do it. 25 is not going to do it, because they will take everything. They will take absolutely, hey, fabulous, they will absolutely take everything. And so that's why it's so important. It is so imperative that you understand your financial house, that you understand your needs. What is it that you want to make sure that things are in place if something was to happen? And then the other side, let's talk about living, right? Because now if you live longer, right, you live a long life. You don't want to live a life where you're trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, right? You have to go back to the workforce. That's why you have to understand what it means to build your financial house. And everybody's financial house is different. I don't do a one size fit all, because I can't. I can't. I can't. My situation is different from yours and vice versa, right? Your situation from your neighbor, your family, even though you may be growing up in the same home, whatever, it's still different. So you have to understand your numbers. You have to understand what your FIN number is. That is your financial independence number. If you want to retire, what age do you want to retire? Because retirement is not an age, it's a number. You could be in your 30s and retire. Are you putting yourself in the position that money is working for you just as hard as you are working for it? Are you putting in the position that if something was to happen, okay, I have this nest egg, because life is life. Okay, I said that before. Life is lifing, and there's things that we don't have control of, but the things that we do when we are in our sound mind, okay, and we can make decision, these are the times that you go ahead and you say, hey, and even if you don't want to do business with me, that you make a decision and you reach out to somebody and get help. Because we do not get taught financial literacy. We get caught when unexpected happens. We get caught when we're working and just paying bills, and we realize, is this all the life? Is this all the life? And we don't enjoy the life that God has given us because we have not put things in place. We have not put things for us to live the life that God desires for us to live, because we're just living for the moment. We're not living not living for generations and years to come. Because at the end of the day, if something happens to you, right, will your legacy keep on? Will they remember you, not so much for the money, but the legacy that you live, that you've put in place, right? So I'm about living. I want to talk about living, right? That's why I love that. When I have my clients and their investment, they never invested, or saved before, and now they're able to save. That's exciting for me. That's exciting. Okay, yes, I do the life insurance, right? Because it's part of the house. It is part of the house. But I love to do all of that. I love the estate planning. I love when I can get to set a family up, and they have children or grandchildren, and they want to put an investment in place for their grandchildren. I get excited when I see I can teach a family, the money game. Now they can teach it to their children, I get excited when a young man or a young lady, they're going off to college, right? And they're not going to get caught up in the credit card race, right? They're not going to get up in the credit card scam that as soon as they get on those college campuses, they're ready to have them to sign up because they're going to give them something free. And they end up paying that for the rest of their lives. I get excited when I can teach my homeschool children about money. My homeschool students, which by the way, I do have homeschool. Okay. My homeschool students about the money game, right? And they're from the ages of 14 to age, the youngest is 5. I get excited for that. I get excited for that because I'm experiencing it. And and we've experienced a lot of loss. We've experienced foreclosure, bankruptcy, being sued, and had the ability to come back from that, right? Now at this spade, experience 2 sudden losses. Now coming back. Now, and I'm saying everything is hunky-dory and great. No, it's not. But as I said, we are going through, and I want to be able to, as we go through this season, to help you to navigate life, right? I get excited when a person says, you know what, I never owned a home in my life, and I have the ability to help them to put things in order. So now they can reach out to one of my partners and figure out where they finally get a mortgage so they can get a house. That's exciting. That's exciting. So no matter where you are, all right, no matter where you are in this financial game, okay, you can always come back. You can always reset. You can always rebuild. You can always. Okay, you can always. So I just want to really encourage you in this season. If you are looking to get into it, understand how money works, right? And you need some coaching, right? A customized financial game plan. You can reach out to me, right? DM me and I can, you can schedule, I send you my calendar and you can schedule a time that is conducive. Let's see where you are. The other thing too is that in this financial game of life, I'm on a crusade. I'm looking for some crusaders who want to have time and financial freedom, who wants to be in business for themselves, but not by themselves, that want to understand the money game, right? So putting their financial house in order. And as they're learning that, navigating, now they can help somebody else, right? Put their life in order. So if you're interested in that, love for you to connect with me when we have our information session, which we will have on this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have in person and we also have Zoom. So I would love to share the link with you so you can go ahead and join in and just see if there's something that is a fit for you. Right, you do get licensed, and we help you to get licensed and get you to navigate this process, right? So you can have, if that's you and you're interested in being in business for yourself, because I'm telling you, this is not a want, it is a need. It is a need, and there's not enough me to go around, right? So I need some other fabulous financial as I come in. I need other boots who want to experience financial freedom for themselves, because I can tell you it is a great feeling where as I said, I'm not in the corner trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I owe, we owe this. I don't know where money is coming from. It's a great feeling, and I want you to have that feeling as well. But you got to get your financial house in order. You got to put your position that you have multiple streams of income. All of that I can share with you. Honestly, right? And making sure, because the Bible talks about that, right? The Bible talks about in Ecclesiastes 11, I'm going to find that verse where it talks about having multiple things, because if something happens to one, it's not going to mess up your financial house. Are you in that position if something was to happen, that you can continue to live? Because maybe one spigot stops flowing, right? And you still need another one, right? So I pray that this was helpful and encouraging for you all as well, because that building a financial, I don't like to say financial mansion, there are layers. There are different layers to building it. And I said there is no one size fits all whatsoever, right? There are different layers according to if you're single, you're married, what's needed. It all depends, but it needs to be something, because listen, we spend more time planning a wedding than we do planning for the thing, right? Which is our finances that's going to sustain us for the rest of our lives. We put our head in the stand and we're just like, well, somebody gonna take care of it. Something, somebody, oh, I'm gonna, Social Security, which is social insecurity, because there's more money coming out than going in. By the way, you can go on their website and see Social Security is not gonna be for everybody. Okay, it's not, right? If you're depending on your church, listen, my father, my parents have a ministry, and if somebody was to say, oh, can you want to help me bury, they would have figured it out. But that's not what the church is there, especially when you're in the sound mind. That's not fair to them, because they still have money that needs to be to run the ministry. Okay, guess what? A nonprofit still needs a profit. A nonprofit still needs a profit. And a lot of times they're trying to maneuver and shifting money here and there. So you cannot be selfish. You cannot be selfish and say, the church is going to. No, you're in the sound mind. You do what you're supposed to do now. Ministers need your help. They need your help. They have projects and things they want to be done. And oftentimes they do it. They take their own money and resources to do things when you can help them. Right? You can put yourself in the business. You have skill sets. You have ideas that you can help, that can bring another revenue. And you say, oh, I want to be able to help people. You cannot help people if you are broke. You cannot help people or things that you enjoy if you don't understand what to do with your money properly. Right? That means you are paying yourself first. Right? Well, excuse me. For us, right? We pay our tithes first. Then yourself, and then everybody else thereafter, right? Because when you pay your bills first and then you say, oh, I want to take care of myself, you put yourself on the last on the totem pole and you're building somebody else's financial house. Negative. That's not what wealthy people do. That's not what rich people do. So you maybe say, well, I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be wealthy. I want to be comfortable. Being comfortable still means you have to take care of yourself. Financial, right? God's then yourself, and then everybody else first, and not feel guilty because you've done that. Because at the end of the day, you've paid all your bills, and you're back at square one. Now you have to go and work that much harder. Can't see morning, can't see night. Right? Can't do that. Can't do that. Not at all. God wants us to prosper at every, you know what prosperity means? That means you're prospering spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially. So with that being said, you don't have to do life, you don't have to do things alone. That's why there is help. Whatever the struggle that you are experiencing in your life, whether there was a struggling of a loss, a struggle in your finances, your marriage, there is help. Don't do it alone. Okay, when you have accountability, it helps you to achieve your goals and dreams faster, right? And there's things that you don't have to go through because somebody has gone through it. I'm telling you, because I wish I had known before. I mean, now that I know about all this funeral stuff and what have you, let me tell you, as I said, there's things that you do not need, that they play on your emotions. They really do. They really do. Because you're just like, I want this thing to be done and over with, and what have you. And it's good. Oh, let me say this too, which I'm so glad. Make sure you go with someone that has some ins and out, which we did. Thank God for my amazing sister-in-law. Because at that time I said your emotions are high, but I knew enough to realize, listen, I don't want to go this by myself. I need somebody, because I'm going to hear what I want to hear. I'm going to see what I want to see. But I know, and being in an emotional state, you're just like, okay, here, okay, it is what it is. So with that being said, I pray you continue to follow me, reach out to me, all of my social media platforms as I'm getting back into the groove of things. Hello, fabulous, getting back in the groove of things, which I'm really excited about this new chapter because there's so much that as you all know, that we experience with these sudden losses. But I do know one thing for me: whatever I can do to help you to navigate the seasons in your life, I'm here. Right? Any questions that you have, I'm here. You're ready to get things together. I'm here. Right? Get into a business. I'm here. Get your financial house in order. I'm here because I am looking for some crusaders. I'm really looking for some crusaders because listen, I cannot do it alone. Right? You get your financial house in order. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the love. And then the process, you can help somebody else, right? And if you like helping people, leave. If you like helping people, leave a 10 in the chat. If you like helping people, if you like, Teacher Melanie, I need to get my financial house in order, right? Leave me a heart. Okay, leave me a heart. If you want to get your financial house, so leave me a heart. If you like helping people, leave a 10. All right, do that for me. Do that for me. Do that for me. Do that for me. All right. So, with that being said, like I always say, remember to pray, plan, and believe because God is still in the business of doing miracles. Make it a great day or great evening. Bye, fabulous.